Hey, so back to school season has been bestowed upon us. Does that make sense? Did that phrase make sense? I think that, we'll start it again. If I can actually do it. Okay. So back to school is obviously here, and even though I'm not going back to school, when I hear the words back to school, I still get like mild anxiety, and I think of that Staples commercial, the Office commercial with the most wonderful time of the year song playing.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
It's that time of year again.
My excitement on the first day of school. That one. When I was a kid, I used to dread hearing that commercial. My stomach would just turn. So I thought that I'd share some back to school stories with you guys and share some of my experience about school and going back to school. And since it's 2016 YouTube, I decided to do a story time because I feel like I'm not a YouTuber if I don't do a story time. Do you feel me? I feel like you need to do a story time video in some form in 2016. So I'm just gonna sit back on my throne and tell you guys a story. So any good story starts off with once upon a time.
Are you serious?
What?
Once upon a time? What are you, telling a fairy tale?
I was just making a joke. I didn't really mean once upon a time. That's not how I was actually gonna start.
You should really rethink this. Wait, didn't you say Daniel's Den was supposed to be a lot more personal?
Yes, I did say that this was gonna be like a more personal type video when I shoot here. Okay, Marvin?
Then why are you talking to me? Wouldn't this be a sketch?
Yeah, but you're the one who showed up. You interrupted this video right now.
Yeah, but you're the one who wrote and edited me in. So voila.
Okay, go back to reading your book. Alright?
Alright, fine. I'll be right here if you need me.
So I'm gonna take you guys back to when I was a fetus. Well, not an actual fetus. Like when I was young, okay, not a fetus in the womb. When I was a young kid with a mushroom cut. It was sort of like an unfortunate hairstyle back in the 90s, but that's what I had. It's like a bowl cut, so they pretty much put a bowl on my head and then trimmed around, and that was my haircut. So imagine little fetus, mushroom cut, bowl cut Daniel on the first day of first grade. This is going back, we're going back. First grade Daniel, pretty much shitting his pants. He's very scared. He's never gone to school for a full day before. Why am I talking about myself in the third person? Someone please help me. The main concern on the full day that my parents had was if I would be able to stay at school and eat lunch. I was the first kid going to school for the full day, so they didn't know, and I didn't know either. And I heard them talking about how, what if I wasn't allowed to stay at school to eat my lunch? You would think eating your lunch at school is like the most normal thing ever. TV shows all the time show kids eating their lunch at school, in the cafeteria or in their classroom, wherever you had to go. So, it was the first day of school, I got ready, I probably had a little polo shirt on. Me and my brother were probably matching in what we were wearing because that's what my mom did on the first day of school when I was younger. We wore matching outfits, even though we weren't twins, but we wore matching outfits. So that day would have started off probably with a picture being taken at home before I got in the car, and then I got into my dad's car. We drove to the school, which wasn't far from my house. I probably lived like a 2-minute car ride away from the school that I was going to. So we get to the school, and then my dad walks me to the back of the school. Now, at this point, there was a teacher that my parents, I think, sort of knew at the school, who was the second grade teacher, but I was going into first grade. So my dad ended up asking the first grade teacher if I was able to stay for lunch. And that's what he asked the teacher, and then he left. He didn't tell me whether I was able to stay for lunch or not. So here I am, shitting my pants, going into the school, finding where my locker is, like putting all my books away. Well, books, I probably had like a piece of paper. Let's get serious. So just think of your first time going to school, your very first day ever of a full day of school. It's terrifying. It's like the most terrifying thing. So here I am, I go into the class, and like throughout the entire morning, I was nervous to begin with, and then I became even more nervous because, again, I wasn't sure if I was able to stay at school to eat my lunch. I think lunch was at like 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock or something like that, 12:30, whatever. Around that, like, lunchtime. So it was getting closer and closer, and I kept looking at the clock. I'm like, oh shit. Like, oh no, it's almost lunch. It's almost lunch. And then we break for lunch, and I was a mess. Little Daniel started crying. And then my teacher comes up to me, who wasn't the teacher that my dad asked. My dad asked the second grade teacher. So the first grade teacher came up to me and was like, what's the matter? And I was bawling my eyes out. Like, my eyes are so red, just like crying. And then she's like, what's the matter? And I was like, I don't know if I can stay for lunch. My dad didn't tell. Now that I think of it. For a minute there, like, I was feeling like some anxiety telling the story, and then when I really thought about it and I was about to say it, it's just hilarious. So I said to the teacher, I'm not sure if I'm able to stay here for lunch. And then, I don't know if at this point the second grade teacher walked into the class and then saw me crying and then asked. And then the camera stopped recording because my memory card was full. Good job, Daniel. But I told the teacher that I don't know if I was able to stay for lunch. So it turned out that, yeah, my dad asked the teacher if I could stay for lunch. Obviously, the answer was yes. He didn't tell me. And then the teacher also never told me that I could stay for lunch. So I didn't know that I could stay for lunch. But in the end, it turned out that I could stay for lunch. And then I ate my lunch while drowning in my tears. I think by that time, I stopped crying. But so pretty much my first grade and second grade teacher kind of, sort of, made me cry on the first day of school because they didn't relay the message to me that I could stay for lunch. So that was my horrible first day of school ever experience. But do you have any horrible back to school stories, or are you like really excited about going back to school? Leave a comment down below and let me know. But if you like this kind of chill story time type video, give it a thumbs up, and I mean, let me know in the comments below as well. Maybe I'll do another one of these. Who the hell knows? But thank you so much for watching. Stay fresh, keep smiling, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye.